Grove Street was almost never green. Stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to know exactly why Rockstar buried an entire hidden version of San Andreas. Let's start with the gang itself. CJ's crew had a totally different name in the beta. Not Grove Street Families, Orange Grove Families. And it wasn't just the name, the whole look was flipped. Sweet had a plain black tee and a headscarf. Big Smoke rocked a white sports top, no hat, bald head just out there. Ryder was in a plain black hoodie, no shades, darker, grittier, nothing like the bright green squad we ended up with. And here's the thing that'll mess with your head a little. Smoke and Ryder not wearing the gang's colors from day one. Kind of feels like accidental foreshadowing now, right? These two were never really green deep down. Rockstar switched everything to green, probably to make them pop harder against the ballast purple, but they never fully cleaned up after themselves. Go into any tattoo shop right now, you can still ink CJ with a massive back piece that says Orange Grove. Literally a scar from a version of the game that never came out. Speaking of ideas that never made it, you know how everyone gives GTA 5 credit for the whole switch between characters thing? That's not where it started. Leslie Benzies, former Rockstar North producer, confirmed San Andreas was supposed to do it first. Instant switching between three guys, over a decade before Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. They dropped it because the PS2 basically would have melted, trying to load that much map that fast. Right idea, wrong console. But honestly, that's not even the cut feature that hurts the most, because deep in the code, there's proof San Andreas was supposed to have a working skateboard. Not just something to cruise around on like the BMX, the files show you could actually use it as a weapon too, ride down the street, pop a jump, flip it into your hands, and just start swinging it at people. And suddenly that huge, weirdly empty skate park in Glen Park makes total sense. That was built for this. Rockstar ended up reusing the whole idea in Bully instead, and San Andreas got left with a dead HUD icon, just sitting in the files. Now here's where it actually gets kind of wild, because this next one breaks a story you already know. Ryder wasn't supposed to flip on Grove Street during the Green Saber finale. Originally his betrayal was going to come out way earlier, in the photo opportunity mission. And that late change is literally why there's a plot hole that's been sitting there for 20 years. When CJ looks out the window and sees his crew working with corrupt cops, he only loses it over Big Smoke. Ryder's standing right there. CJ just doesn't react to him at all. Gets weirder too. At Pier 69, Ryder was originally supposed to just die on the spot in the shootout, and T-Bone Mendez was meant to be the one escaping on the boat. Rockstar swapped their fates late, so Ryder ends up with a death scene he was never actually written for. That's why he's got zero real dialogue in his final chase. It's all recycled lines from other missions. Okay, quick pause, because this next one might be the weirdest cut vehicle in the whole franchise. A flower pot. On wheels. For like 20 years, modders just called it the RC camera and figured it was some abandoned joke. You can still glitch into it and drive it like a normal car, it'll even let a passenger hop in. But when the definitive edition dropped, we finally found out what it was actually for. It was supposed to be a disguised stealth camera to sneak into a Las Venturas casino before a heist. A flower pot doing spy work in a casino lobby? Completely ridiculous, but it fits the whole Ocean's 11 vibe they were going for before that mission got cut. And the trams in San Fierro? You were meant to be able to hijack and drive those too. There's still unused police radio audio in the files calling out a suspect near a tram. Here's one that'll hit different if you've ever loved Chop from GTA 5. CJ almost had a dog. Blink and you'd miss it. But the very first trailer shows a dog running behind a dancer on the beach. Years before Franklin got his dog, CJ was supposed to get his own. A Rottweiler or German Shepherd that guards the safe house and maybe even jumps into gang wars with you. But Rockstar was already getting slammed for the violence in this game, and letting players mistreat a pet felt like too much risk. So the dog just quietly disappeared before it ever got a name. The beta weapons are worth mentioning too, because this arsenal almost looked way more brutal. A wooden baseball bat wrapped in rusty nails. A way more detailed M4. An AK variant with no wooden stock for a stripped down look. They even ported over Vice City's SMG at one point. All of it got cut because the PS2 just didn't have the memory for it. And 2 whole missions were finished, voiced, coded, ready to go, then pulled right before launch. One was called The Truth Is Out There. Big finale for the Truth storyline, CJ defending him from an FBI raid after stealing that green goo. Had a fully modeled armored FBI truck with a mounted gun. Just gone. The other one, Impounded, had CJ and Caesar breaking into an LSPD lot to steal back a lowrider. The audio is still sitting in the files, so we know this got axed pretty late. Then there's the co-op thing, and honestly this one stings if you played on console. You remember grabbing that floating icon and pulling a friend in for a split-screen chaos? Both of you shooting out the windows. When they ported it to PC, that whole system got stripped out completely. Modders eventually rebuilt it years later, but PC players just missed out for a long time. And this next one is just bizarre. Pedestrians were actually coded with an animation to randomly stop and pee in the street. Fully built, ready to go. Rockstar quietly deleted it before it ever shipped. Which brings us to the big one. The messiest, most infamous cut content in gaming history, hot coffee. You probably already know the surface story. Hidden minigame, data miners cracked it open, lawsuits, government hearings. The game almost got pulled off shelves entirely. But here's what most people don't know. Leftover developer notes show Rockstar wasn't even done experimenting with it. They were building other versions too, including one for the casino character Millie, set entirely on the back of a moving motorcycle in traffic. They were testing exactly how far they could push it. Kind of wild when you think about it. San Andreas came out as one of the most detailed open worlds ever made, and none of this stuff even made the final cut. So if Rockstar ever goes back to this game, half of this deserves a second shot. Which one hit you the hardest? The dog, the skateboard, or hot coffee on a motorcycle? Drop it below. I'm reading every comment on this one.